You've got to take that risk. What was my chances of success making a death metal band, the first thrash metal band in Australia in 1984, in 100 miles outside of Sydney? What's the chances
Probably
of success?
fairly small.
Zilch. Right? But the underground started. I wrote a lot of letters and did all this. So you could go to Norway now and buy a T-shirt of my first band, right? Only put one demo out, right? But it's underground, right? But I got it known, right? And that's what I don't like about this victim mentality we have now, because they're taking away that spirit. Of getting it done when it's... Because we grew up with stories of, this fellow, got sent to an orphanage and then got kicked out at 12 and then lived on the streets on a train till he was 15 and then worked in an iron thing and then started his own little shop and did that and did that and then he did this from hell.
Yeah.
And we used to go, see how these men and women can do it.
But that's the human spirit.
That's
they're
the
talking about,
right.
And
now it's like, well, how come I'm not included? And why don't? Right, and you're taking away the chance to be to get into the challenge. Well,
that's
it's almost different now. I say it in my show. It's like when I grew up, you had your punks and metalheads, and everyone's an outsider and goths, proper outsiders. Wandering around Australia in 1981 with a pink mohawk, people will stop in utes. Right, what's going on over there?
Fitting
right?
in,
right? And so now you've got all these people right around at 20 years old with their purple hair, but what they're doing is
they're fitting in again.
They're begging for the very system they think they're radicalised against to accept them. Right, whereas you walk around with a mohawk in 1981, you're not surprised when you go to the bank to get a job and they say no.
Yeah.
And you don't go, it's discrimination, because you've dressed up like this to be discriminated against, right? This is why I know I'm not going to get a job in the bank because I don't want to get a job. This is why I talk this.
That was exactly that was exactly it. Because I remember literally years ago, there was I had an eyebrow piercing when I was like 19, and I got refused from jobs. And it was, you think now, an eyebrow, but it's such a small thing. I'm not covered in tattoos and I haven't got green hair or anything, but I'd get refused from jobs. My dad you should take that out if you want to get a job. And I was like, no, I kind of don't though. That's the point. That's exactly the point. And you're exactly right. And now you're exactly right. They're all like unionized, a bunch of like people who are wearing like they're individuals with their different color hair and all their piercings and their weird lifestyles and stuff like that. And they're like, right, okay, bring us into the corporate world. It's like, why? Why do you,
they're begging for they've been tricked. It's a monumental trick. Yeah. It's almost like when they first brought out Revenge of the Nerds films, I thought, oh, look, they're trying to get the outsiders. They're trying to pull all the outliers in.
But it's like it's the universal sort of corporate culture, that spreadsheet culture. It's like, look, we can have that person on a spreadsheet because it doesn't matter what they look like or what they're doing. It's just another number on the fucking spreadsheet, whereas back in the day...
And also this stuff, what it does is it now it's so complex. It's so genius. I mean, hats off to the enemy, right?
I like the enemy. I like the way you frame that because honestly, I'm looking at this political correctness, corporate culture and being like, whatever that is, one day I'll be up in arms against it.
Oh, well, because what it also does is then they start to go, well, you have to be able to accept everyone the way they are. And we've got an equity, a social equity thing you've got to fulfill, right? But see, if Bob and Janet run the garden centre that mainly sells to middle class, mainstream families who want some pots and plants, but they go, well, now you have to have a goth guy in there. Well, no. It takes away his freedom to run it the way he sees fit.
Yeah.
If he's told you have to have this amount of people, now there's another freedom gone, right? Where he goes, well, I just need a normal bloke with some beige slacks who knows about manure and pots and wouldn't mind working here. You know how to talk to people, customers. Mainly my demographic is, mums and dads and families come in, old ladies buy some plants and pots and some blokes who like gardening. I don't need a guy with a sort of discharge shirt. Right? But if you go, well, you have to have one, now you've taken away his right to do what he wants and sees fit and how he should.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, there's nothing valuable about inclusivity. Like, all value comes from exclusivity, Whereas these people can't be allowed in here for a reason, and that the thing that you've built is built on what you exclude, and so you've got barriers. So you've got this is for these things and not these things, and so now we can build on top of that and on top of that. But if you level that, you've got nothing to build on.
You've got nothing. I used to describe it like
exactly
that Neapolitan ice cream. You get chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. They're demarcated.
Yeah.
This modern culture is like, well, we just get a spoon and we mix it all up into this glue.
Now I can't taste the chocolate,
and then
which is my favourite bit.
Well, it's just a kind of grey blue blob of nothing.
That's a great way of putting it.
Here's your new culture. What is it? Well, now there's no direction either. There's no direction. So once there's no direction, well, who's going to direct you?
Well, whoever.
We know who's going to direct you.
And but that's the thing, though, isn't it? You know, but it all lines up well on my spreadsheet. You know, no one's left out of the spreadsheet. Everyone's on it, and it's like I don't really want to be on it. But
No. It's. Oh, I mean, it's happening. I can see it. It's happening in comedy. It's happening in. It's happening in these. Happening. My friend's still in a band. She lives in Germany. I booked up she booked a festival, and then it's like, we got to have this amount of bands and this amount of bands, and they use words like in comedy or music, it's a male-dominated. See, there's the trigger word. Dominated industry. It's not a male-dominated industry. More men did it.
Yeah.
Why? Because more men do things like comedy and bands. They're
do. More adventurous.
Right. You know? Well, you're saying there's no funny women. No, I've seen funny women. Not as many women choose to do things like this, right? It's not, why? Because it was dominated by, no, it wasn't.
My spreadsheet, that's what they're saying every time.
It wasn't dominated by, because now these little PC people I was in bands back in the early 80s, and I grew up watching Susie and the Banshees and Kate Bush and these, and so now what you do is you piss on their legacy. Because if it was harder for them then, they still did it.
It's even more heroic.
More heroic, right? Yeah. And they still did it.
Yeah.
And the amount of saying it was so harder for them, a lot of it, mate, I've been in the English comedy circuit for 20 years. If you're funny, you get a gig.
Yeah.
It's a very simple thing. So this is a strategy works. Comedy rooms want good acts.
And that's the
so
value
people
of
come
it.
back to their clubs. So
that's the value of it.
If a Middle Eastern woman with a turban thing on or something started raking the floor like Michael McIntyre, they'd ring her up.
Yes.
Do you want to do my club? Do you want to do my club? Well, they don't care, right? They want to come and do the club, right?
Yeah.
Because everything's kind of, we've been told that wasn't happening. But I was there. It was happening. Well, I was doing the circuit.
But no, you know what they're saying though, it wasn't happening, right? Because that one woman who was really funny, she the barrier is you've got to be funny, right? Okay, so she gets past the barrier, so she's in the exclusive area. But there are a bunch from outside who aren't funny, and they're like, well, why can't we come in? Well, because you're not funny.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of blokes outside that aren't funny, that don't come in, right? It's the same as if I joined the football team and every practice, Steve comes in 9 minutes behind everybody else and can't really kick the ball with any kind of direction. Then eventually they go, well, Steve, you can't play in the team anymore. Why?
Well, that's not very inclusive.
It's
not inclusive. You've got to include me.
Of course, it's not inclusive. Why? Steve can't play football, right? I mean, how did this become such a mess, right? It was so easy when I grew up. And it was like, and also it was this, if people want to go, you're sexist or this or that, mate, I'll try and explain to you people, right? When I grew up, I watched the TV and then I watched shows and there was white men on there and white women on there. And then I'd watch American shows, not too many black people in Australian shows. But then I watch Good Times and the Jeffersons and all this, right? All there now. There's some black people on the telly.
Well, I used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I'd see Chinese people on the telly. I'd see men, women. I'd listen to music and there was women singing songs and men singing songs. See, this is what happened to me, you young people. I never thought that anyone couldn't do anything. Why? Because I could see it happening in front of me.
Yeah.
There's Kate Bush. Singing her songs. Do you like them? Yeah. I wasn't thinking, what's that chick doing?
A woman?
Yeah. Right. One of the greatest genius artists. And the funny thing is most of the music I listen to now is all women. It's all Enya, Lisa Gerrard, Kate Bush, Tori Amos, Amy Whitehouse, PJ Harvey, right? Why? Because they're geniuses, right?
Yeah.
But is there as many women that get into making bands and that as men? No.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.